today I'm working on getting the perfect booth shot that I hope will get me into all of the art fairs that I'm applying to in the spring, or at least it will get me into most of them. And so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to share with you some of the things that I've learned over the years on getting a really good booth shot, so that way you'll be one step ahead in your application process as well. And first things first is the idea of peacocking it. We've all heard this, right? You know, someone going to a party and they act flamboyantly, they dress really boisterously, they are the talk of the party. Everybody's attention focuses on them. So that's what I want you to think about when you are trying to hang your work for a booth shot. You want to peacock it. You want, when those judges see your work, to look at what you've created and be like, wow, this stands out from all of the other applicants. And so that's what I tried to do today with my booth shot. I figured out that it's best to set up your tent and everything and hang it all in your backyard rather than taking photos out at an art fair after a show or before a show, because that's what I used to do. But it's better because you can have control of your complete environment here if you're doing it at home. First thing I did to try to make my work stand out was set up my best art fair tent. I have my Flourish trim line, so you want to use your best tent. A lot of these art fairs, they want to know that you have the dome tents, not the pop-up tents. Some of them won't even allow you in if you have a pop-up tent. So I made sure to have my best tent. I also put my best sidewalls up. These are my pro panels. I'm putting them in my booth shot because you have to put your best foot forward, and these are definitely the best foot forward. I also have my flooring in my booth. I rarely do shows with the flooring because it's extra time to set up and it's a lot of cleanup when they get dirty, but I'm putting them in here because it really sets off everything. It makes it look amazing. Next thing I did was I hung my biggest originals that I still have. Some of them I've sold over the years, obviously, but I hung the ones that I still have. You see, I have a lot of my cats hanging over here because the cat paintings I always keep for myself. This is Mr. Samadhi and Mr. Samadhi and Panda Bear. These are paintings that are not really for sale. They are just hanging forever in my living room. But the thing is, they are really big, attention-grabbing pieces, and I want to show my very best things. And so I also have a lot of other big pieces on this back wall. And this is one of the things that I come across when I'm taking a booth shot, right? I think, okay, well, I don't hang all of this big work at the shows, but I need to put it in my booth shot. Before I started setting up my booth shots this way, when I would just go out and take a picture of my booth at the show, I wanted to represent my work honestly for what I would actually take to the show. And I'm not saying to be dishonest, but here's the thing. I don't take all of this stuff out to the shows, right? I don't take my biggest and best paintings only. I have a lot of print bins, I have chairs, I have a counter in my booth, but as you can see, I don't have any of that here in my booth. I wanted to declutter everything, and this is the goal with a booth shot, is to show the jury what the sizes of your biggest and best pieces look like. It's not necessarily to represent 100% what your booth is going to look like when you actually go to the show. The jurors realize that you're going to have a checkout counter, you're going to have chairs, you're going to have price tags, you're going to have signs with your names on it, right? But you can't have any of that stuff in a booth shot if you want it to look really professional. One other thing, I want you to notice how I have the wall looking full of my pieces, and I have various different sizes. So I'm showing some of my smaller pieces and some of my larger ones, and back here I'm even showing larger than that. So I have a range of work because the judges will want to see that you have a range of work. I also want to make sure though, if I'm showing this much work, that it doesn't look too cluttered. So you want to have a good amount of space in between all of your pieces. And honestly, you don't want the wall to look any more cluttered than this. It's better if your walls have bigger pieces and have just a fewer number of them. And so this way it shows that you know how to hang your work in a way that looks more like a fine art gallery rather than a craft show, because this is what the jury is looking for when they are curating their event. They want the best artists there, right? And so you want to make your work look super expensive, even if you have lower priced items in your print bin like I do. I'm taking the photo with my best camera. This is a DSLR camera. I'm also having it set up on a tripod. Now, if you don't have a DSLR, that's okay. You can use your iPhone, but you just want to make sure it's mounted to a tripod, or at least you are getting the most crisp photo that you can, because you want to submit a very high resolution, really good quality photo as your booth shot to the jury process. You also want to have the camera placed so it's taking the shot from about here, like about where your shoulders are. So this just below eye level. So it's seeing all the paintings at the level that they are. It's best not to have any other tents or anything like that beside you or around you showing in your booth. So you want to crop your booth pick all the way up to the very edges of your tent. I also want to show you some examples of bad booth shots that I have used in the past. When I applied to shows with these booth shots, I hardly ever got in. And I don't know if it was the booth shot or if it was just like happened to be whatever the show wanted in there. It wasn't my kind of work. But I highly suspect that the booth shot was a contributing factor to me not getting in, because it made my work look unprofessional in the sense that it wasn't elevated to fine art status. I mean, you can see the difference between the booth shot I took today and then all of these other booth shots. Namely, they are very cluttered. You can see that I have signage with my name on it, which is, like I said before, a real no-no. You can also see all the price tags and my checkout stand, all of that stuff. It just doesn't look good. All right, well, if you found this video helpful, you might like to watch this one on how to set up a cheap art fair booth. All right, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.